Hello, subscribers! You are watching the 5th part in a 9-part series where I rate every anime I've ever seen, with a few caveats that I've mentioned already in the first episode. This episode is all about wasted potential. These are animes that either could have been great, or had a good premise, or could have at least been okay if they had just finished the anime. Let's begin. Naruto could have been the best anime about ninjas ever, but instead, we got a 3-star anime where power level trumps skill and key mechanics are thrown to the wayside, and just an atrocious amount of filler. It starts out decent enough, with Naruto being a not-so-impressive ninja, working his way up to try and become Hokage. Naruto introduces a unique power mechanic in the form of hand signs. All ninjutsu techniques require the use of combining different hand signs. This could have been a great mechanic, but they slowly got rid of it in favor of techniques that didn't require hand signs, or just looking at the opponents. Why bother going through all the complicated hand signs when you can just start fires with your eyes? And a lot of the time it seemed like it came down to whoever had the most chakra wins. Not every time though. Sometimes you'll get characters like Shikamaru or Rock Lee, who either have a very limited amount of chakra or just can't use ninjutsu at all. Those moments are when the show is at its best. Unfortunately, these are side characters who don't get enough limelight. Especially Rock Lee. Naruto could have used 100% more of Rock Lee. He is very underutilized. But the absolute biggest problem with Naruto is the atrocious amount of filler. There are large sections of Naruto that I just skipped because it was a Mecha Naruto or another flashback. There is only so many times I can watch Obito give Kakashi his eye. We get it. Their past sucked. Move on. But Naruto doesn't end there. After Naruto, we have Boruto, which, although it is severely worse than Naruto, I am counting it as the same anime. But don't worry, it's not really affecting my score any. Now, some more articulate reviewer might be able to point to some flaws in the writing or character development. Not me. I've only got 2 points to complain about Boruto. One is modernization. Naruto was pretty primitive by comparison. The most technological advancement they have would be some paper bombs. Except when you consider that the paper bombs were bombs because they used chakra, not gunpowder. But only one generation later, all of a sudden we have trains and movie theaters and burger joints. Suddenly finding yourself in a time of peace is no excuse for this leap in advancements. And I don't understand why anime writers feel the need to do this. They did it with The Legend of Korra as well. It wasn't good there either. Although, with Legend of Korra at least, they were using lightning bending as a form of energy, so it was at least a little more believable and consistent with the world. Also, there was a bigger time gap between Avatar and Legend of Korra. The other problem with Boruto is the power scaling, specifically with Sarada. But all the children seem to be outshining their parents in some way. That is, for their level. Like, they're doing things before they even become Genin that their parents couldn't do as Genin, or until they became Genin. This is especially true for Boruto and Sarada. It's not a big deal for Boruto because he at least had training from Naruto, so it makes sense that he would actually be better. But Sarada does not have that excuse. She is more skilled with her Sharingan before she even becomes Genin than Sasuke was as a Genin. And she didn't have anybody to teach her how to use the Sharingan. Sasuke actually grew up with Uchihas to teach him, at least for a little bit. Sarada never had that. She should not be as skilled as they make her. And then there's Metal Lee. I'm so annoyed with what they did with him. Metal Lee is self-conscious, and if he knows people are looking at him, he will get nervous and mess up. And the terrible thing they do with this is they make this into a fighting technique, akin to Rock Lee's Loopy Fist. or Drunken Fist. I'm not sure if that's a translation thing, I never looked into it. And it is stupid. There is no way that should work. That having random movements because you're nervous suddenly makes you unpredictable and effective. Being unpredictable and drunk makes sense. There's an actual fighting style around that. This, however, does not. Naruto could have been 4 stars, but they got rid of skills in favor of techniques, and they just crammed it full of filler. And then they decided to have a brand new series, which made it a whole new set of mistakes. Naruto as a whole gets 3 stars. Bleach had such a strong start. Ichiko could always see spirits, and one day a Soul Reaper decides to make him a substitute Soul Reaper to help her because she's in a weakened state. So he spends a series getting stronger, defeating enemies, rescuing damsels, and eventually defeating Aizen. And that's where the anime should have ended. Unfortunately, it didn't end, and it kept going. After Ichigo lost his powers, he decided to make some stupid an additional season to have him get his powers back before ending the series. Up until that last season, or arc, I should call it an arc. Up until that last arc, this is a 4-star anime with great design, great music, great action. Naruto also had good music, action, and design too, but Bleach was far less liberal with the fillers. And really, I didn't even notice most filler. There was one arc, with the Bount arc, I think, which was technically filler, but as someone who doesn't read manga, I had no idea. I wouldn't have even called the last arc filler if they had just kept going. If they had just kept the anime going, I could have just ignored that and not really complained too much. But it was such a weak way to end the anime that it just ruined the whole anime and brought it from a 4-star down to a 3-star. So if you do watch Bleach, which probably should, just stop watching after Aizen is defeated. It should vastly improve your enjoyment of the show. Kemono Michi Rise Up is about a pro wrestler who is about to retire from wrestling and open up his own pet shop. But during his final match, he gets summoned away to another world where the humans seem to be at war with the Beastmen. And the human princess who summoned him asks him, summon him as a great warrior to help them defeat the Beastmen, which he takes offense to because he loves animals. So he suplexes the princess. This is what got me interested in watching the anime. That's pretty funny. But as we find out, when he says he loves animals, he really loves animals in a very inappropriate way. Instead of the anime being an interesting and possibly funny anime about a wrestler stuck in another world who has to use wrestling to defeat all of his opponents, instead we get a pervert who, by the looks of this picture, is in his own harem anime, which I didn't even know was going to be harem anime. I never got past the first episode. I can see how some people might find his idiotic perversion funny, but I am not interested in ecchi humor like this. I would give Kemono Michi 1 star because I only watched 1 episode, but because it had so much potential to be an actual good anime, I will give it 2 stars. Dead Man Wonderland. It's about a high school kid? Maybe high school, maybe junior high, I'm not sure. Who gets sent to prison for killing his entire class, which he did not do, but he's framed for it, and put into a very special high security prison where all, or at least most of the inmates have certain powers where they can use their blood as weapons, including the main character who uses his blood as bullets. This anime, of course, is not for children. It had potential, but I will never know what that potential is, I guess. Because it only had 1 season, and it wasn't a standalone season that could just stand on its own. If it kept going, I might have been able to give it 3 stars. But I have to give it 2 stars. If you don't like watching a story that will never finish, don't watch Dead Man Wonderland. Rurouni Kenshin is about Kenshin Himura, a war hero who refuses to kill. So instead of using a real sword, he uses a reverse blade sword to avoid accidentally killing people. Because blunt force trauma is not a thing in this anime. This anime suffers from the same problem that Bleach does. Decides to keep going after the main enemy has been defeated instead of stopping. And everything after Kenshin defeats Shishio, everything after that just pales in comparison, and it's just dull. There was also a movie called Samurai X. I don't know if it was the prequel or the sequel. I mean, I don't know if Samurai X was the prequel or if Rurouni Kenshin was the sequel. And there may be multiple Samurai X movies. I watched Samurai X when I was a kid, and it was pretty boring to me. I have yet to watch it as an adult. I assume it will be better as an adult. Rurouni Kenshin could have been 4 stars, but then they decided to keep going past Shishio, and that just brought it down to 3 stars. Zatch Bell is kind of like a combination of Black Clover and Pokemon. Living dolls with superpowers have spellbooks associated with them that their owners use to fight with. I'm not 100% certain how much of Zatch Bell I've actually seen, and I don't want to try finishing it because from what I've seen online, at least from some comment section, it's not finished. They stopped in the middle somewhere. It seemed decent enough, and it may have been a 3-star no matter what, even if it did finish. But not finishing the anime is what earns it on the category of wasted potential. I'm still giving it 3 stars. It's hard to hold the unfinished part about it too much against it since I didn't actually experience that unfinishedness myself. To recap, Bleach gets 3 stars for just ending terribly. Naruto gets 3 stars for excessive filler and foregoing strategy for whoever has most chakra wins, at least to some extent. Kimono Michi Rise Up gets 2 stars. It would get a 1 star because I've only seen the first episode, but it had a lot of potential. The entire concept of this video is based around this anime. So much potential just wasted. 2 stars. Dead Man Wonderland, also 2 stars because it just didn't finish. Rurouni Kenshin, 3 stars for basically the same reason as Bleach, not ending when it should have. And Zatch Bell for 3 stars because it apparently didn't finish. Although as far as I know, I haven't finished it anyway, but still. In the next episode, I cover my controversial picks. The ratings that a lot of people will not agree with me on. See you next time.